How to know when to wash your plushies.
In today's society, we have a problem which has reached epidemic proportions. Crime has become a way of life, and we are victims, or we live in fear of it. The reasons for this are many. Today, we will examine one of the causes on this show.
Women are complaining that men aren't approaching them in TikToks. So, is it true? Yes, it's true for the women who are complaining in TikToks that men aren't approaching them anymore as they would like. But this isn't true. Women are being approached and couples are being made every day, whether it's online, digital hookups, like where you meet somebody online, or whether it's in public in person. It's the women who have the temperament to make complaining TikToks saying, why doesn't anybody want to date me? Which is also an advertisement for, I want somebody to date me, but not you. Do you understand? So the kind of women, and I don't need to know you, the kind of woman that you don't want to approach, that's the woman making the TikTok saying that men aren't approaching them. It's not that men aren't approaching women, it's that men aren't approaching those women. Because everybody, men and women, both have learned from social media what's unappealing. Oh, I know I don't want to talk to her. She looks like one of those TikTok girls that complains about how men are awful and nothing's ever good enough for her, and you're too tall, too short, don't have enough money. Everybody's poor now, okay? Most people aren't rich. Let her wait for her high value 200 grand a year man or whatever. I'm not gonna bother. Look at the way she presents herself. No thanks. Oh, I've seen TikTok videos where the women, that's the kind of woman that complains that everybody's looking at her, so I'm not even gonna look at her anymore. Men are still looking at women. It's the most basic way to meet somebody. You look at each other and you exchange a glance, and then maybe that becomes a series of glances, and then as the man you got to go over and approach that woman. It depends on the social situation. It's situational. It's easier online. I've been approached by women. I've approached women, and I know that I'm an ancient old fossil and all this stuff, and you would never even want me as your unk spelled wrong. But that's how people know whether they might like each other. It's a look. And if you're not getting looked at, it's because you're making TikToks complaining about people, and we all watch the compilations of the impossible bitches, the horrible women that no matter what you try to do, they can't be pleased, so nobody wants to approach them. So it's not that regular girls are saying, nobody talks to me. It's the women advertising that they want somebody to talk to them, but he has to look like whatever's going on inside of her mind. That's the kind of guy that she wants to approach her. And if you're not that, then you're horrible. You're a creep or a stalker or whatever word they use now for a guy that they find unfavorable. And that's it. It's a basic thing. It's a look. What do you do to say somebody you don't know? Hi, my name is, and then you say your name, and then you look at the situation you're in, and then you have to improvise. You want to have a line, hi, my name is, your name, I wanted to talk to you. I know I don't know you, but that's how you get to know people that you don't know. You talk to them. So, you want to talk to me? That's the way I do that kind of thing. Or is it a bar? I don't go to bars. I don't drink. You look at her. Does she have a drink? Oh, she keeps looking at me. Make sure it's not the guy behind you. I've had that happen. I went over to talk to somebody and she's like, not you, him. But she was polite about it, as polite as you could be. She was like, no, that guy. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking at the other guy. I'm alive. I survived. I lived to bang again, okay? Just not her. Social media has changed our lives, and social media was the tool that was used to make everybody stay home and be scared. Globally, I don't need to know where you live, we're traumatized. If it hasn't traumatized you, it's traumatized other people that you know or that you don't know yet. So it affects all of us, okay? They told us to stay home and stay online and be scared. It's what they used to use the news to do. They would say, the shocking story that you have to see to believe. This is a story that just might save your life. And that's what they used to do to us to terrify us on the TV news, because the news channels wanted to get the ratings. So like, I gotta watch the news. They said it might save my life. And then you watch the story and it's a dud. Well, now it's just been, what do I call it? It's an inflammation because of the internet. Now you don't need to watch the news. The news comes up on your phone. As soon as you turn it on, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't ask to hear. You have to change the settings on your phone so that when your phone turns on, you don't get a whole bunch of news and weather and all that stuff that you didn't ask for. Unless you like it, then there it is, as soon as you turn on your phone. I still haven't figured out how to shut the thing off on my phone where while I'm opening the key to open my phone or whatever, typing my code in, it's already telling me to text for anyone to see. Who cares? So I haven't changed it. So they can see my text. I'm not getting any text that I need to hide, okay? But it's like, before I even like sign into my phone, I guess you could say, they're already letting me know that I have several texts and I can swipe them before I even sign in. Why have a code? You're showing my text to anybody who picks up my phone before I unlock the code. I hate phones. Look what they did to us. The internet's on the phone. I blame the internet, and you can too, because it's what we do. But going back to the news, in the 1990s, a lot of people got sick of the news, and in the early 2000s more so, because the internet wasn't in our lives like it used to be. This is still about dating. I remember my buddy at church, he's an old man in his 70s, and he was showing me on his phone his olden days cuties from Facebook where their school pictures were in black and white. So he was showing me, look at the girls I used to get, you know, before he was an old man and he's lonely, and we would talk about, I'm trying to think of old starlets from the I don't know. I can't think of any of their names right now. Anyway, old titty dolls that were in the movies, and we'd talk about them. So he was showing me the girls that he used to get, and you know, his old sweethearts and stuff on his phone, you know. So it's still about dating, but the point is, old people know how to use their phone, and they use Facebook, and the old ladies are putting pictures of themselves online and when they were beautiful before they became grandmas and great grandmas. Okay, I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying that people know how to use their phones, and so this has affected us. This has entered into all of our lives and has molded and shaped the way that we live and the way that we think. And when they told everybody to stay home, make a bubble bath, they traumatized us. When, you know, whether it's generation X, Y, Z, and then alpha, beta, or boomers before everybody, we've all been affected. Okay, so people are divided and conquered in a lot of different ways. And a lot of people got weird and they're still weird. I know people that are still weird after COVID, and it affects our interactions and it hurts. And we're getting programmed by our phones. It's not healthy. But that doesn't mean that women aren't getting approached. It means that women that are those type of women that and I don't need to know you again, the type of women that you don't want to approach anyway are the ones that are making the TikToks complaining about men. You know you don't want them, and not all women are doing that. And when you live your life, it's probably not a problem for you. And I don't even know if you have a girlfriend or you're married or what my analytics are for the age range of men who watch my videos. But the point is that men and women still are approaching each other, and a lot of it starts with a look, and it's situational. Where are you? You at a wedding? I know that there's like less opportunities for social situations to flirt, but now we have all the stuff online. I've had women approach me through dating websites. You just have to be on them. I don't want to pay for them. Dating websites used to be free. Then my progeny said, Dad, go do eharmingme.com, and I did, and it worked out. And I got approached. I put myself out there, and then the women can shoot you back. And they have, what is it called, Bumble, where everybody puts their profiles online, and then the woman decides whether she wants to talk to the guy or not. And we know that there's a lot of bunkum that goes on with the dating sites where it favors the women who can't make up their minds. Just kidding. Where women can't make up their minds, so they give them infinite number of choices, so then they set up impossible standards. And look, this isn't all women aren't awful. People are still meeting each other and falling in love every day. But when we see a thing on social media, we all know who the women that are complaining are. They're the impossible, I'll just quantify it as that. They're not impossible, but it's women who have set high standards and nobody's meeting them. So they're like, how come nobody wants to date me up anymore? What's wrong with me? I'm pretty, I'm a girl. And it's advertisement for a guy who's up to it, who's up to the challenge to flirt with me. Nobody's flirting with me. I mean, I've also seen in the compilations of women who just say they just wanted somebody to bang them, like they're not getting laid and they want to get laid. It's just basically a booty call. But what do you look like? You watching? Is she talking about you? Maybe it could be you. Is she in your general area or region? Is she hot enough to travel that she would deign to bang you? Or probably somebody, a potential suitor, is in her area and saw that video and it's like, ooh, it's the kind of guy I like. It's her Chad. That's what they call him now. They call handsome guy Chad. So, these women aren't all women. All women aren't like this. All women have not been programmed by this mind virus. It's just women that are, I mean, some of them are ugly, let's be honest. I mean, they had the T-app leaks, and when you saw what their faces looked like, a lot of them were unattractive women, and they probably weren't dating anybody, but they wanted to shit on guys anyway. Or just to be there, just to know what the T is, because they don't have like a dating life or anything, which is sad. I mean, have you ever seen, like I've been on the Hub and stuff years ago, and you would see homespun adult videos made on a phone of people where you're like, why would they put themselves up on RedTube or whatever it is having sex? Because they're both really ugly people and nobody wants to see them have sex, but there they are for anybody to just watch them, and nobody cares. Nobody like, I don't want to see that, ugh. And sometimes it's ugly people that get paid to have sex. Here's $500 and it's really gross. Or, you know what I mean? We're humiliating ourselves, but that's not all people. And I dare to say that that's not even most people. We're watching, but we're not those people. We're complaining about it, but from a distance, we're watching and looking at the phone video. I'm glad that's not me. Whether it's a guy humiliating himself or a woman humiliating themselves. And it's not even pornography. It's just stupid TikToks where people are embarrassing themselves. And there's a lot of these. And it knows the bounds of this know no age. Did I say that right? It could be anyone of any age. Everyone's willing to humiliate themselves to make stupid phone videos. And maybe they'll get the hits. People are monetizing it. That's kind of making sense. I used to say I make free YouTubes, but the idea of people monetizing stuff makes sense. I mean, if you're going to put yourself out there and risk humiliation, it'd be better to be miserable with money than to humiliate yourself and be miserable without money. It's not a motivation. Maybe if I make a humiliating video, I'll make money. No. What I'm talking about, to stay on focus in this video, or on fleek as they say on Black Twitter, or on point, which is the same thing as fleek, if it matters. Just trying to make some distinctions. It's a comedy podcast. How am I doing? It's not really about laughs for this one. I'm just talking about people. People were made to get together, and when I see that it's being propagandized to keep people apart and miserable and lonely and isolated, I see that as part of a divide and conquer strategy that's being advertised to us. It's also just fearfulness. So the strategy that the news stations used to get our attention are now the strategies that TikTok girls and TikTok boys, I guess you could say for that matter, are using to talk about how they hit the wall and nobody wants them. But look, I'm still hot, and look at my whatever they got that they're showing to you. It's advertisements for a mate. It's the most basic thing. People want to pair up. It's by design. Even if it's a same-sex partnership, those people want the same thing too. They want to partner up with somebody and have somebody they can trust and share real estate, even though it's impossible to afford and everything like that. Everybody wants to go away to go live off the grid or whatever, because when society fails or whatever, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, I know some people don't want to do that. But it's like a basic thing that people want to pair up and pair off with each other. And it's the thing I've talked about over and over again in my hundreds of videos that no longer exist on this channel. Everybody wants at least one person they can trust. It's God, and then what do you go to God for? Please, Lord, send me my mate, send me my partner, send me my person. That's how I see it on the other side of the pond. They always say, I want my partner, I'm looking for my partner. They say it in an accent. And all these cute girls, and they don't have anybody over there. Why don't you marry? There's so many immigrants coming in. Why don't you marry one of those guys? You don't like this? I thought the women were into that. Okay, I'm sorry. That's not polite. Those people want love too. They come from horribly repressed places, and then they're immigrants in another country and they're given a way of life and they're disgusted. Look, whatever the devil wants, I just don't want him to have it. Can I leave it at that? It's unacceptable. You have to, I know people have to fight for their countries. They do, like within their countries, like we're not going to accept this stuff. We want to have families and be families, and our governments are trying to destroy us. But also women in TikToks, some of them have impossible standards, and then you have the guys that are propagandizing to the young boys and anyone who will listen. These men that are saying that women are no good and you can't trust them, and they're all like those TikTok girls that are an OnlyFans. And look, there's how many OnlyFans girls are there globally? I think there's 4 million of them. What's the population? They say 7-8 billion people, men, women, and children. So out of that, they say that there's 4 million OnlyFans. Now, what percentage of the OnlyFans girls, just to pick something to talk about it that's related to all this, what percentage of them are making any money? There's a lot of women that go on, well, apparently 4 million worldwide, and they do OnlyFans, but not all of them make money. Some of them guys don't want to pay for that. They're like, oh, I know her, she's on OnlyFans, I'm going to look it up on Google and safe search off. I'm going to see her butthole in the shower. Oh, look, she really isn't making any money on OnlyFans. I can see the stain around her asshole ring. It's brown because she shaved her butt with a electric shaver, or bikini bear or whatever, and she can't afford to have it bleached because it's a thing of the world that we live in, where women who are showing their assholes to the world are bleaching them. How many out of the 4 million women doing that kind of thing are making money? Does that include sex workers, or is it only OnlyFans? I know some people, like I just said, are putting their pornography up online for people to see for free, but that's not everyone. And I dare say that most people aren't putting their adult videos online for everyone to see. Although, even in my advanced old age, I remember getting sent pictures, sexy pictures, on my phone, and I didn't like it. I thought, this is who I'm dating? I mean, I'm glad that she feels comfortable that she can send me that, and I want to see it. But it just felt weird. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, wow, was like, maybe maybe I wanted, maybe I had some unrealistic ideas in my head. I should just be glad that she wanted to send me some racy pictures of herself on the phone, where she pointed the camera at the mirror and I could see, and it was nice, and I wanted to see it. But I've seen it in person. Here it is on my phone, just to remind me that she likes me that much that she's sending me, dirty pictures. But, she didn't know that if she's gonna send me pictures like that, maybe she should ask me, what would you want me to send you, like racy photos on your phone? I kind of want to be asked first, instead of just seeing them. And I've also, people that I know have shown me videos on their phone. Look, and it's some girl showing her tits, and they weren't showing them to me. They were showing them to my cousin on his phone, and he's like, look, I'm going to see her now, and she was showing. Somebody's mom was showing him her boobs, and then he showed me her boobs, and I don't even know who she is, and I don't want to see what he's going to bang tonight. It's kind of gross. I don't want to know about where you come. I don't want to know. I don't care, and you don't want to know that about me. We're talking about dating. So anyway, I still think that a lot of people are reasonable and rational. You weren't one of them. And yet I'm also willing to concede that people make mistakes. Maybe you did a stupid thing with your phone. I know enough that I'm not going to send somebody dick pics, all right, even if they want them, because the world, I remember the embarrassing, humiliating situation. I don't know, it was kind of cool. I felt like a stud. I had a girlfriend. We had dirty pictures in the old days when you had to get them developed at the photo lab. So we took our film to Kmart, and then when it came time to develop our dirty pics, she said, "You go in and get them. I'm gonna wait in the car." Okay, so I went in and got them, and the two ladies behind the counter turned bright red, and before I even asked for my pictures, they handed me our dirty pictures, because the people at the photo lab let the people at the where you pick up your pictures, they let them know these are the ones that have nakeds in them. I also knew somebody, he worked at a college, and he had a whole collection of naked pictures of co-eds that didn't give him those pictures because he was the guy that worked at the photo thing at the college. They had a photo developing thing at the college, and he knew what pictures were naked because he looked at all of them, because nothing to do, you're sitting around looking at those pictures. And he had a whole box of pictures of strangers that didn't give those pictures to him, and he's a really creepy guy, and it's a criminal thing. So hey, if you're a police officer, maybe you should find out and hit me up and make me get that guy in trouble, because I really hate that guy. He's a bad guy. He's a terrible person. Anyway, so, and it's creepy and weird to see those things, because it's stolen, you know. Also, that's, you know, same thing with I don't know, it's just you're risking yourself. What am I talking about again? Oh yeah, dating. It starts with a glance. It's just about, it really is, like, some people, the thing I hear nowadays is the people vibe each other out and then they have sex. I know about that too. You don't really know somebody and you have sex with them and it turns into a relationship because you fluid bonded, because you chemically bonded. Somebody's blowing you and you're like, geez, I hope this turns into something. You know, it sounds stupid to say. It's like a punchline, but it's also true. People are basic, and probably the woman doing that's flating you is I hope he likes me because I did this and I don't really know this guy. Does that mean that she's a whore? No, it just means that people are pretty easy and they want to be liked and they do stupid shit. Now more than ever. So you did something for somebody, like, look at it from the woman's perspective. She liked a guy, so she thought she should keep him, so she did some stuff, and then you see, you know, you want to date that girl, and then you see this stolen stuff. Your buddy says, yeah, I know her, or wait a minute, you know her, and then you see her doing some nasty shit on the phone. One, you're not supposed to see that. Two, it's not supposed to be made a video of, but she did that because she liked him. And now with the younger generation, younger than me, I would say, is that it is kind of like advertising. They're like, yeah, aren't I really good at that? Because sometimes the women will send you stuff that they did with somebody else. Look at this. It's like, did you send me a video of you getting railed by some other dude? And like, yeah, that could be you. You want to do that? No. It's not good. I think I just swallowed a bug. Did that read on the camera? It's like one of the hottest days of the end of the summer, okay? I'm pretty good with not having bugs in my pad, but damn, I think I just swallowed a bug. Anyway, you have to look at, people mess up, you know what I mean? Mostly all the women I've dated are women of easy to zero virtue. I've never in my life dated or entered into a chaste woman, not a one. Not even in high school when I started doing all that stuff. I mean, you know, everybody has their first time that they did stuff, okay? But then you can advance really far from there and do a whole bunch of gnarly shit. And like I said, the story I told, I used to rail a girl behind on the side of a dumpster in an alleyway directly across the street from her father's house. And then after we had sex, we would walk directly across the main street in town and we would eat microwave sandwiches. Every man wants, you know, the woman that has less sexual partners than him. I don't know how to finish that sentence. I guess that is the end, and put a period at the end of that sentence. That's what you're a man, you want that. Me too. I'm old. I've done a lot of things. I don't know that I need any. I kind of got away with a lot of stuff. Like I got to have my fun. Would it be nice to pair up with somebody? Sure. But really what would have been nice or ideal would have been to have been paired up with somebody for like the last 20 years. You know what I mean? That's what you want, right? So I don't know who's watching these. But, you know, it's a risk. You're gonna have to risk yourself and get the bullshit idea out of your head that all women are crazy. You're gonna meet somebody that's crazy, that's really mean to you in the way that you see in phone videos that you watch. Don't give up, because, you know, that's just one woman. You hear the horror stories from guys you know of how they were treated. Yeah, I have my own, and I've heard worse. I feel like I got off pretty light considering some of the stuff that's been done to other people I know. I also know people who have been married for like, I don't know, like 20, 30 years, and I wouldn't want anything that they have. Like, I hate their relationships. They're just, you know, you get so... this is how I had it put to me. I said, why didn't you get a divorce then if you guys hate each other so much? And he said, neither one of us wants to split half of nothing and start over again when we're old. That's sad. But even with that, I can't help but think that if you put some effort in it, you could find your way back to loving each other again. Even if you've been together so long, you realized you never really loved each other at all. You did build a life together and you're still together. I don't know who's watching these. But, you know, do something. And find a way to love each other. You spent 20, 30 years with each other. I guess that's what I would say, you know, when I was told, who wants to split half of nothing and start over again? We're both old. Okay. But, you know, I think love finds a way, but, you know, seek and ye shall find, you know, whatever. Take your old bag and find a way to fall in love with her. Look at her differently. Something. And if you don't have anybody, which seems to be a lot of people anymore, and advice to, I don't know who this is for, but I just wanted to point out basic stuff that you knew already that maybe you haven't seen in another video, because I don't know what videos you've seen, but you're watching this one still. So it really does start with a look. Okay, they're looking back. Okay, again. And then you got to go over and talk to her. And again, what's the social situation? Can you say something applying to that? Forget about whatever you saw in a TV show or a movie. Forget pickup lines unless you know what kind of woman you talk to that you might like, whether she'll go for that shit or not. But you don't know for sure unless you try and you fail. And a lot of times, like the stuff with exchanging glances, you can tell whether or not they're having it or not. Like if they give a look where you're like, oh, I don't think, okay, then let it end right there. But that is the most basic thing, how people meet, is they look at each other. So the women that are complaining about not being approached by men, that's that specific type of woman. They used to get approached all the time. And again, maybe it's situational. How old is the woman making the video? Can you tell that maybe she's getting a little bit older so men don't approach her like they used to? The way a woman presents herself is advertising. And the way that a man presents himself isn't necessarily advertising. Depends on the social situation. How do you dress? What kind of woman are you approaching? Do you want to have to deal with that all the time? Like, look at the way she is from the first. If she's giving, you know, like if you can tell a lot of things about her, about how she looks, do you really want to get involved in it? Is she dressed sexily with cleavage and all that stuff? Do you want to take on all that? Or do you want the woman who probably shops at TJ Maxx and is modestly dressed? Is she wearing t-shirt and jeans? Is she showing off her form? You know, you probably want the girl who isn't doing that stuff. You probably want the girl, you know, like if you want to build something lasting with someone, modesty matters. Yes, women want to look pretty, but you know what I mean? Like we've seen all the videos. Like we've all seen videos about men, about women. Why are you approaching her? And if it's not the type of woman you approach, then why do you give a shit what a TikTok compilation of those same women think about men not approaching them? Somebody makes an article about it, and then that's how everyone's supposed to think about the opposite sex, no matter if you're a man or a woman watching this. It's just not true. Oh, men don't approach women anymore if you're a woman. Oh, Men aren't approaching women anymore if you're a man. You know what I mean? Like this, I guess pretty stupid way to put it, but it's just, there's two sides to the story. It's the men's perspective and the women's perspective. But, you know, like, who's the guy making the video? What type of guy is he? Who's the woman making the video? What type of woman is she? Do you want to date them anyway? Who gives a shit? It's, you know, whatever. And if you want to get seen and pair up with somebody, seek and ye shall find. You kind of have to put yourself out there. I mean, it's one thing to pray to God and ask him to set you up with somebody. He knows all the women, right? Like, why wouldn't you ask God to help you? Please, Lord, I know you know everybody. Set me up with somebody. That's for men and women both, right? Pray to God for it. And then you have to go out and meet the people. One of the ways that people used to meet was at the supermarket, because everybody has to go to buy food. Now people have stuff sent to their house. It's a whole department of every supermarket that I go to anymore. They have a section of the store that's now about home deliveries because of the lockdown stuff. It's to keep people apart. There's not an overpopulation in the world. They want to get the population down. They tell us that there's 7 or 8 billion people. Did I say million before? That there's 7 or 8 billion people, but really there's like probably 3 or 4 billion people. They lie about their numbers. China inflates the numbers of everything and they lie, and there's a lot of people in China. And they're not the only ones that lie. So they say that there's too many people, but it's bullshit. They just want to push us all together, make us live on top of each other. And that's why we have stories like George Orwell's 1984 and Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. They're two stories that just say we don't want love to win. We don't want two people together. We don't want Winston and Julia from 1984. We don't want them together. We want them to love the state. It's communism, Marxism, socialism, propaganda. How do you control everybody? Don't give them anything to fight for. What are people willing to live for and fight for and die for? Love. So they want to take it away. They want you to love the state. They want you to love Big Brother. They want you to love Mustafa Armand. That's Brave New World. So, yeah, I mean, just don't give up on love. And old people fall in love too. I've seen that happen. My father's parents, my grandparents on his side, they got divorced, and it was because my grandpa was having an affair. So he hooked up with his young little cupcake tomato, and then my grandmother spent a lot of years alone. And then when she was an old senior citizen, she fell in love with a guy, and they got serious with each other, and then he died. But she was like an old lady, like, I don't know, 70s or 80s, whatever. And she fell in love late in life because she fell in love with a guy from the senior center, and they did to Charleston and all that stuff, and they both had hip replacements, whatever. But, you know, love can happen to people late in life, like way late in life. And yes, two old people fall in love with each other, and they're both wrinkly and old. You're like, I don't want that. Yeah, I know, I don't want that. I'm not far away from it. I don't want a woman. I really honestly don't want a woman my age. I don't know that I need a woman, but it would be nice, you know? Just the idea that every now and then, you know, sanctified, of course, that I was like, you just grab a hold of my thing and just let her rip. That would be great. I wish God allowed hand jobs, you know, out of marriage, but it's not really allowed. It'd be nice. But, you know, sanctified, like Reverend Sheen used to say. And that guy's a bozo. But he's right about that, at least. Yeah, I mean, people were literally made to pair up. So if you want to control people and be horrible, evil, authoritarian leaders, you put a whole bunch of propaganda out there to make people think that the opposite sex is crazy. But now we're doing it to ourselves. What used to be reserved for the legacy TV media is now just been decimated down to the common man and common woman, and we propagandize to each other, you know, ideas and thoughts and opinions of our evil dark overlords from Skexrio, wherever you want to believe, and and we're doing it to ourselves. Because we know, because we're starved, because we're lonely and starved for attention. You know, the collective we. To say it like a communist. which I'm not. And I'm also not a humanist. Just want to let that out there. Although I did think Star Trek Deep Space Nine was really cool, but I'm not really into space communism, and I don't like the Rand Corporation. I think they paid for Star Trek. Whatever. It doesn't matter. To stay on point, people, it's the most basic thing. People were made to love each other, and I just wanted to pontificate about that and reassure you that it's a thing worth fighting for. And it's not fair to believe that all women are crazy and all men are crazy. It's just that some of us are. It's a schizophrenic society, sure, but that's been done to all of us. Does that mean that love can't survive in it? Bullshit. Or BAALSH it, if you prefer. I do. It's bullshit. It's just a divide and conquer strategy. They want us to put our kids up on the altar, or not have any. And people are lonely, and it's the most basic thing. It's like such a basic problem that people have, is they just want to pair up with somebody. Don't you just want one person you can trust? And if you can if you have them, you know how valuable that is. That's the thing that God talked about when they said about getting married, and like, is this the woman you would die for? Are you willing to lay down your life for this woman? Are you willing to die for your man, to not submit to things that are against God? You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of who that happened to in the Bible. In the Old Testament, there was a woman. It was somebody's wife. I forget who it was. But let's just Hezekiah or something like that. And there was two priests that were spying this guy's beautiful wife taking a bath outside. So they wanted to have her. So these two priests approached her. This is of the old Israel. And these two evil priests of the synagogue of Satan approached this woman, and they said, lay with us, or we're going to tell them that you have a young lover and you're cheating on your husband, they're going to kill you. So she said, well, if I do that, I'm disobeying God. So it'd be better that I put myself in God's hands and just deny you guys. So then they accused this woman of cheating on her husband, took her to court, and God stepped in and intervened through Daniel, I think. Yeah, it was through Daniel. And then Daniel questioned the two priests that were accusers and found out that they were lying. He said, where's your hiding spot if you were spying on her? Where are you standing? And they gave their hiding spot, and Daniel said, that's a lie. And then they killed those two guys, and the woman got to go back to her family, and she didn't cheat on her husband. You have to do the right thing by God, even if it means laying down your life. And then in the case of the woman, the woman in the book of Daniel, she didn't have to lay down her life because God, was watching out for her. So maybe you should think about God if you're a woman watching this, and definitely you should think about God if you're a man watching this and you want a woman. You think you can handle a woman? You better ask God for help with that shit, because you're supposed to be in charge. All right, the husband's the head of his wife. Say it like that. And the woman's supposed to be faithful and true. It's the most important quality to any man and a woman. Will she cheat? It really is. It's like the most basic thing. There's no way around this. It's the most basic thing. I should start a whole other video where I talk about just like, I think I'm going to do that. It's the most basic thing that every man wants. Just don't cheat. Maybe you don't want, you got fat and she doesn't want to have sex with you. She doesn't want you climbing on top of her, hovering over her or whatever. Okay, but guess what? Don't cheat. It ruins everything. And it's adultery. It's one of the 10 commandments. It's one of the 10 things that sticks. God didn't say, okay, well, Jesus is here now. Love me above all else. Love your neighbor as yourself. And all the rest of the stuff you can forget about. No, the 10 commandments still matter. All right? There's like the 10 important things that will mess up your lives if you break them. Look at how miserable people are because of cheating. It's like the criterion thing to a man. Will she cheat? You tell me what's more important in the comments if you don't believe me. I don't think you're going to change my mind about that. I'm not special. Why should I be any different than you or any other guy? It's the most important thing. And I don't know what women... I know there's guys want to be cuckolded and stuff. That's mental illness. And I did have a weird girlfriend that kind of wanted me to like bang other chicks, and I was like, I don't know. So that's her problem. That's not how... It's not supposed to be normal. It's sicky. It's not healthy. So we're literally made for each other, and if you want to really ruin people and destroy the world, then you tell them they can't be together anymore. What did St. Paul say in the letters in the back of the Bible? They were asking him, hey, St. Paul, how will we know when the end is near? And he said, was it Timothy? No, it's St. Paul. He said, well, when people are no longer allowed to marry and you can't eat meat anymore. Look at where we are now. They want everybody to, they're telling us, well, eat some bugs. And, what do they have in the Orgy Porgy and Brave New World? Nobody belongs to each other. We all belong to each other. That's communism shit. All the children are awarded a state, and so are you. And we don't care how old you are. It's all our shit. Forget about belonging to God and obeying His will. You do what the authority tells you. You do what Big Brother says. You do what Mustafa Arman says that we have to do as members of the factory. We're one global factory. Burning Man. It's a festival about burning the man. One global village. That's their tagline for their bullshit. For their anti-human, anti-mankind festival. We're burning a giant man. Brilliant. One global factory. We are Target. We are Target. We're the Waldens. And then have them fight each other. We work for Walmart. We work for Target. And then there'll be one victor. Who's gonna survive? Walmart or Target? And all the food comes from Monsanto. Whatever. It's awful. You wanna live like that? No, that's worth fighting for. But you'd be willing to lay down your life more easily if you had your beautiful, your woman, your mate. Same thing for the women. Maybe this is an old saying. They say the new saying is in the future have nothing and you'll love it. But the old saying was, we may not have much. Actually, we don't have anything, but at least we got each other. They want to take that away from us. They don't want us to have each other anymore. They want us to just, I guess, play video games, but not own the games, and just live our lives so that they don't. So, oh no, I want to no, I'll do what you say. I want to play the game. Blame. The uglification of things. The destruction of it's all communism, Marxism, socialism stuff. I mean, like, if you want to make it simple, you could call it bad old days of Nero and Baal worship or Bel worship or whatever you want to believe. Worship and veneration of the old gods, which is just horror and violence and stuff. But people were made for each other. People were made to pair up and stay together. And that's dangerous because, that's something worth fighting for each other. And men and women together, a whole country of people like that, that's a dangerous thing when they're trying to take everything away from us. People were willing to lay down their lives and have nobody to rule over if they're willing to fight unto the death for that. No, they want to co-opt everybody into evil so that you go along with their evil plans because misery loves company. And those demons want as many people to go to hell with them as possible. And there's a lot of people that are manipulated and puppeted and horribly traumatized and controlled by forces of darkness. So they're trying to get us to go be miserable with them. Forget about your relationships. That's nonsense. Nobody loved me. That's why I'm not special. Why should I be different than anybody else? Love is not, it's bunkum. Don't believe it. But that's not true. No, that's worth living for. That's worth dying for. That's love. Love God above all else, and love your neighbor as yourself. People have died for that, and they will again. Many saints will be made in the coming days, for those two reasons: because they loved God above all else, and God taught them how to love their neighbor as themselves. And that's what the union of a man and a woman was always for. God always intended it to be that way. One man, one woman, together one flesh. He said, look, you guys in the old days, your hearts were hardened. It's in the Bible. Your hearts were hardened. So you had multiple wives and you divorced them and got rid of them. He said, I want you two to be together. Just one man, one woman. That's always how I intended it from the first, Adam and Eve. We're made for this. We're made to pair up. And it's the most basic thing. And in our heart, our hardened, broken, tiny, grinchy hearts, we know it. And everybody wants the same thing. It's Planet Daddy issue down here. I've been saying it for years. I gotta bring back my old logo. This is Planet Daddy issue with the Earth, except that people don't believe the Earth is round anymore. Does it matter what shape the Earth is if we're not even on the fucking map? You know they're lying to us about a lot of shit. Why would they not be lying to us about all the outer space stuff? Do you believe that Katy Perry and Oprah's best friend went up in a rocket? I don't. Look at how they landed. That they'd be dead. It's bullshit. BAALSH. So people were made to love each other. Look at how many of the songs they are about love, whether it's about falling in love or about how you should be down on love, and the songs of broken hearts. It's the most popular thing in a song. What are the most songs ever about? Always about love. Whether it's in favor of it or it's against it. We're made for this. We are loving, worshiping beings made to worship God above all else and love Him so that He can teach us how to love each other and ourselves in a healthy way. But not like, not that way. Or, flicking beans or whatever. You're supposed to be married and they do that for you. That's great. Here, let me help you out with that thing. That's what I want to hear when I wake up in the morning. Probably every morning. I remember. It's been a while. It's great. Sanctified. Together one flesh. Do you realize how very real and serious that is? That's what people are messed up. You together one flesh with too many people and you get desensitized towards love. It's like that's what desensitization is. Like you see a thing over and over again until it loses its value. People are supposed to be young, horny, get married, and then they have this whole world of their private love life that's to be shared with no one else except for the two of them. And we've commodified it, and we've broken each other's hearts about it. The women see the videos and say, a guy would never like me or rail me like that, and the men see the videos and say, I'd never get a girl like that or get to do all those disgusting things to her. And it perverts our idea of love. It makes it seem less attainable, less possible, and it makes the idea that the common man has to be a sexual athlete. What does the stuff people do in pornographic videos have to do with real intimacy between a man and a woman in sanctified marriage? Nothing. They're in opposition to one another. They're not related. You're not supposed to spice up a marriage with the things that sexual athletes do in, public bum sport or whatever you want to call it. Not blood sport. I'm trying to think of what a funny word would be for it. In public cum sport or whatever you call it. We're not supposed to be doing that. It's about intimacy. If you really love somebody, you really want to do all those disgusting things. Well, maybe if they want you to, but it's supposed to be your whole secret world. You know what I mean? Like, that's what, you're not supposed to have a bunch of different sexual partners and lovers and stuff like that. But, catch as catch can. You have to make do with the choices we've made. Does that mean that a woman that's had sex with a lot of people is incapable of love and Does that mean that such a woman is incapable of a lifelong, lasting, however much of your life is left, partnership? No. People were made to pair up, and they're lonely, and people make excuses. Doesn't matter what they are. I'll drink wine. I'll have pets. I'll whatever the guys do, have hobbies or whatever. It's bullshit. People, it's sour grapes. A lot of the videos that you see people make are sour grapes. Love hasn't worked out for them so far, so they're going to give their opinion to the rest of the world and say that's how it is for you. And it isn't. That's how it is for them because they made a lot of mistakes. So they double down, triple down, octuple down on that they made the right decision, because it's hard for people to admit that they're wrong, especially women. I know guys that are hammerheads too, and like they're old men now. There's a boomer I'm thinking of, and it's impossible for this guy to admit that he's wrong, and he'll scream and yell and say, I can't do this, my blood pressure, I'm not allowed to do this. But he can't shut himself the hell up. He just wants his way. It has nothing to do with what's right. It's just willfulness. Women can do the same shit. So men and women are different. Are they equal? No, maybe in some way in the eyes of God, but they're different. They're men and they're women, and we're made for each other. But the woman's not supposed to lead. But there are times when a woman has to lead, like like when the man's not around or when he's down. It doesn't mean the guy's down, so you ditch him and find another one. Nobody wants that. The woman doesn't want to be sick and then he goes, or pregnant or whatever, and he goes banging other women. And the man doesn't want somebody that when he's down or has a weak moment that she won't be there to, stand by her man or support him or, whatever. And then we all go to God for comfort. We're supposed to. Pray to God, because they're going to try and take that stuff away and tell everybody that they can pray. What they want to do is set up a huge global letdown. Hey, go ahead, have Christianity. They want everybody to go to the one true God, which is Jesus, the only begotten Son of the Father and Maker of all things, and His Holy Spirit, which is a place. We're His holy temple. It's a place for the Holy Spirit to rule from, which is who is Lord, who is God. And what's coming down the pike for us is that that's the one thing we're not going to be allowed to do. They're going to say, you know what? You can believe in a pantheon of demons, aliens, whatever you want, but you can't have Jesus. And they're going to want to kill us for this. So you better ask God for help now, because you have no idea what's coming in the future. And if you want to be in the place that has no more tears, then you got to change your ways down here if you want to get in. And you're going to be really miserable if you give up on love. You're going to be miserable if you give up on the idea of love. Not to say that everybody's made for somebody else, but there are other ways to love. It's not just the love between a man and a woman. It's, develop a relationship, develop intimacy with God, and ask Him for intimacy with a partner of your opposite sex, and in marriage and all that stuff. But if you want to really know what love is, you have to develop a relationship with God and get to know Him, and then He will teach you how to love in a way that you didn't think was possible before you ever sought God out. Seek and ye shall find. Seek to love God, and you can ask Him, Lord, I don't love you. Teach me how to do it. I don't know what that means. And He will show you. And some of those ways He will show you will be by your sufferings and Him seemingly breaking your heart. And when those things are happening, keep in mind how it must have been for God to have a similar situation happen to Him. You want friendship with God. I'm not asking you if you do. I'm telling you, you want friendship with God. How are you going to be friends with somebody if you can't relate to Him? All right? You want to relate to God? Think about how much all the shit that we do down here hurts Him, and all He wants us to do is to be with Him forever, because forever is so much longer amount of time than the short time that we're here. We die. No way out of it. They're not going to develop the technology to keep us forever, okay? You're not going to, forever's not you on a thumb drive. That's not you. So we're made to love. We're loving, worshiping beings. You want to know about love, ask God for help. It will help. Even if it's heartbreaking, and we're going to suffer down here, but it'd be better to pair up, because we were made by design to love each other, and men and women were made for each other. So don't you believe those TikToks of those poor heartbroken people, whether they're men or women or kids or whatever. That's just some people. You have to look at it. You would do well, rather, to look at it from the perspective of what's her damage, what's been done to her. She's just sore because she's used to getting her way, and now she can't get away with this one thing, because you can't just tell people how to be, and you can't just mold somebody or expect to manifest or whatever this bullshit people believe now. It's old New Age stuff, the manifesting stuff. You can't just wish your way. There's a difference between a wish and a prayer. People are wishing for the things that they want, and devils and demons hear wishes. Prayers directed to God go to God, and He hears them. And pray to God for help and for a mate. And seek and ye shall find. Also, you gotta put yourself out there, whether it's online and dating websites and apps. I guess I should just call them dating apps. Are they websites anymore? I suppose so, technically. They're dating apps. So whether it's dating apps or in person, I've heard this story multiple times from strangers, and you may have seen videos where somebody saw somebody else, and whether it's the man or the woman, it doesn't matter. I've heard both, where they're like, if I don't talk to that person, I know I'm going to regret it. And then they don't know what they're going to say, and they just go over there and they talk to that person, and that's the person that they're still with to this day, to this minute, to this hour. We're made for this stuff. People are made to pair up. And you know, don't give up on love. I don't know what else to say. Like, there's nothing else I have. I mean, I could keep talking. I could just keep, you know, expounding on things about love. I'll save it for other videos. But I do have a lot of videos on love. I think a lot of those fall into the category of women. Like, I have a playlist titled Women, and a lot of my love videos and that kind of thing. I should just have a playlist of love, but I guess I'm putting all those videos on love and relationships in the women playlist. So on my old channel, when I had like hundreds of videos, that was the biggest category that I had, was videos on women, because it's like the most basic thing. Well, I'm a man, but a lot of those videos in the women playlist aren't necessarily about women. It's just about dynamics between men and women. And I know that it's men that are watching these videos, like all 20 of you or whatever. Bless you. So, yeah, I mean, there's just going to be more to come. Like, I love women. Why wouldn't I? They're great. Do you ever see what they look like naked? I know you have. You shouldn't have, though. That was somebody else's wife you were looking at. Unless she sent you those pictures and you're married to her now, then that's your wife. Did she show them to anybody else? I've seen a lot of pictures of women that are complete and total strangers. They would never let me see them naked, except that anyone can see them naked for free because of the internet. And that's some guy's wife now, and he's trying to get all those pictures offline. That's one of the things I thought about that kind of made me think differently about porn. What if I got somebody really beautiful, and anytime we were together, the guy would look her up like, wow, Scott's got a really hot wife, and then they're looking up to see her naked pictures if there are any. You know what I mean? Like, maybe if it's not somebody's wife today, when I'm looking at some, you know, nude image of a woman, video or photo, it doesn't matter really. Whatever she's doing, she's spreading her butt cheeks apart. That's somebody's wife, and it's not your wife, unless you're married to her and you know that everybody can see pictures of her asshole in the shower or whatever, or with oil on it or whatever. Stupid shit. I'm just trying to think of funny things that people do that's absurd to me. People bleach their assholes so you can't see the shit stains on it, because what we now know from shaving the hair off of a woman's asshole and having her spread her cheeks so you can see that. I don't know why it matters so much. I've seen them, like in the field, you know, like and you know, in the old days with hair on them and stuff, like there's that, but that's not what I'm really here for. It's the other part, it's the other place. I'm looking for a womb to rent, and I want to put my thing in there, to be crude about it. But now people bleach their assholes because they're being seen, and look, people's buttholes have a ring of shit stains around them from a lifetime of pooping every day. You know what I mean? Like, that's a messed up thing in the world, that's a thing that you can do. Bleaching and pulling the hair off. Why? Why so much focus on that? I don't know. I don't know you, and it doesn't matter. But anyway, you know, my hand was like a magnet to a woman's ass, and I've been in the opposite end of that too, where you're in a relationship with somebody and you're always, I used to get goosed all the time. She'd just put her hand right on, just grab my ass. Okay, now I know what that's like, and it just keeps happening. It's how you let somebody know that you like them, if you're in serious committed relationships. I'm not a supporter or advocate of fornication, but I know how hard it is. You know, I know how the world is anyway. It's just, I want it to work out for people, whether they had sex before they got married or not. But of course I'm going to advocate for people waiting to be married, even if you've already banged a bunch of people, both of you, whether you're the man or the woman. It'd be nice to, you know, like, I've had sex with people that I didn't really know, and it became a relationship, and then I got to know them and we broke up. But I've also Well, actually, I've never really been in a situation. Usually it was just sex first, kind of. Maybe that has something to do with why I'm alone. But what I can say is that I've been in relationships where I didn't know somebody and then we fooled around. And then when I got to know them, I really just liked spending time with them, and it wasn't about us having sex all the time. But I've also had relationships where it was about having sex all the time, and then when we stopped doing that, I realized I didn't really like them. And, and I've had the same thing for me. It's like, oh, we're not having sex anymore, and they didn't really like me anymore. It was just the frequency of sex that kept the relationship. The goo was the glue. Let's put it like that. But I also know the other side of it. How cool it was just to hang out with her, and we'd just do nothing and just sit in the kitchen and just like listen to music and stuff like that. And just do nothing, and it wasn't foreplay. I mean, I've had relationships where everything we did was basically just foreplay to sex. But I also know what it's like to just really like somebody and not have to do anything and just be together and watch whatever stupid shit she wants to watch on TV. And I don't even like it, and it doesn't matter. I just want to be, close to another human being. So we're made to pair up. We're made for love. You don't need any more. It's Planet Daddy issue down here. Call your father and ask him to set you up with somebody. He knows all the women. He also knows all the dudes. So, I'll do this. Call your Father who art in heaven and pray to God for help, because you need help and I don't even know you. You want better help than better help? Ask God for help. Amen to that.
Duh! Here are the outtakes! Duh!
Women are complaining that men aren't approaching them anymore. It's just not true. Women who make TikToks about complaining about everything, a portion of those women, a segment of those women, are complaining that men aren't approaching them. It's not that women aren't being approached by men, it's that women who complain in TikToks aren't being approached by men. Maybe it has something to do with their attitude. Probably. Oh, I'm not going to go talk to her. Look at her. There's something about her face. That's what we do to recognize whether or not we can approach somebody. Women will keep looking at a guy and say, maybe he'll notice that I'm looking at him and he'll come over here and talk to me. It's the most simplest, basic thing. It's a look. How do you flirt with somebody? It's a look. You look at somebody. How do they look back? Do they look like they're not interested? Then you don't approach them. Are you not sure? Well, then you keep looking back and forth, and it happens a couple of times. It's always the exchange of a glance between the man or the woman. The man's expected to initiate. Okay, go over and talk to her. What do I say? I don't know, it's a stranger. Hi, my name is, and you fill in the blank with your name. And then you think about the social situation that you're in before you go over there. Oh, we're at a bar. Does she have a drink? Can I buy her a drink? Her drink's empty. Do you want another drink? Hi, my name is... And then you see what she says next. I wanted to talk to you. I know I don't know you, but, well, that's how you get to know the people. You go over and you start talking to them. And then if she's not nice to you, then you go away. That's the end of it. If you see her start pulling her phone out, leave. It's not a problem. I think the problem is, yes, it's a problem that people are staying home and they're getting more isolated, and the whole world got traumatized when they told everybody all over the world, stay home, take a bubble bath, stay 6 feet apart from one another, and all that stuff that they did to us that we're not recovered from. And the effects of that trauma, that global trauma, vary from the different age groups. Like the kids who graduated via live stream are traumatized one way, and then there's the millennials, the Zoomers, the Gen Xers, the Boomers. Now there's Gen Alpha and Gen Beta. Look, we all got traumatized. People are online, they're a little bit weird. It's possible for anyone to get attention. It seems like we're starved for attention. And to stay focused on what I started talking about, women that want attention are like the news used to be. When people stopped watching the news in the 1990s, when people when there was TV news that people watched. I mean, I suppose people still watch it nowadays, but you just get all that on your phone. Whether you want it or not, you turn your phone on and there's the news and the weather and all kinds of stuff that you didn't ask for. Unless you change the setting on your phone so you don't see any of that stuff. That's the only changes I made to my phone. I don't have a screensaver on my phone. I hate phones. You know that about me, right? Subscriber. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell and do the thing for updates and all that great stuff. It's all free. You can just watch it for free. So it's divide and conquer strategy. It's how do you control people and get them to be isolated bio units that just buy when you want them to buy and stop consuming. They head us into post-consumer society. You don't. Everybody's weird about talking to each other. That's not a new thing. You just do it, and it fumbles. And if you like somebody, like they have to look at you. I don't know how else to. I'll do this all over again.